The boy was pushed off the 100-meter-high rooftop by the school bullies before graduation. But he didn't die. Instead, he became a vegetable and laid on the hospital bed for 10 years. In 10 years, he can clearly felt everything around him. But he still can't wake up from deep sleep. In order to wait for him to wake up, his grandma took good care of him for 10 years. She even insisted on working several jobs every day in order to raise enough medical expenses. However, her such efforts were regarded as a laughing by doctors and nurses for their daily conversations. And his only younger brother had also become the target of bullying by the school bullies. Feeling the deep malice of this world, his heart was incomparably painful and tormented. But now he can't even shed a tear, thinking of those classmates and teachers who caused him to become what he was today. If there was a miracle in this world that can bring him back to that time, he must destroy everyone one by one. He began to map out every step in his mind to take reprisals against them. Hatred for them even made him think clearly about his plan for 10 years later. But even that was just his fantasy, just when he thought he could only die in pain like this. But he found that the scene of the classroom appeared in front of him. This dreamlike feeling made him unable to believe that everything in front of him was real. So he picked up a pen and inserted it into his thigh. Until the severe pain swept through his body. This made him realize that he really returned to that time. At the same time, an angry growl came from beside him. This time the school bully Park Min-chul was bullying his only friend Lee Young-min. And that was when all his pain started. At that time, in order to stand up for his good friend, he became the target of bullying by school bullies. He finally fell into the endless hell. However, this time, he stood up without hesitation. Before Park Min-chul could react, a clenched fist hit on his face. Kim Yun-sung had been waiting for a whole 10 years for this moment. At the moment of Park Min-chul's bewilderment, Kim Yun-sung grabbed his yellow hair again and slammed it into the desk. Immediately afterwards, countless fists struck his face like a machine gun. But the pain he endured for 10 years did not make Kim Yun-sung stop easily. He threw Park Min-chul into the air, then raised his foot and kicked him in his face non-stop. Park Min-chul was confident that his body shape can bully others. So he was not familiar with being beaten. As long as he took the initiative, he can completely subdue him. Just when he was about to strike hard, a school chair was thrown towards him. It was Park Min-chul's accomplice who heard the news and rushed over. Just then Kim Yun-sung just stopped his action. At this time, a tall bully could not help but step forward to give him a lesson. He was the strongest guy in the gang of Park Min-chul, Kang Chong-sik. Fortunately, the students next to him reminded the teacher to come here. This had interrupted the upcoming fight. Looking at his companion, they can only leave angrily. Was very unreconciled. He stared fiercely at Kim Yun-sung without saying a word. Although Kim Yun-sung, the class monitor, was involved in various affairs of the class, he kept a distance from him and never had a conflict. This time, he crossed the line. Park Min-chul secretly made up his mind to beat Kim Yun-sung to death after class. Just after class, he was not waited for him to stand up completely. Thigh had appeared in front of his eyes. Kim Yun-sung directly kicked him out with a whip. What we just did has not finished yet. After that, Kim Yun-sung's fist hit Kim Yun-sung's head violently again. And the few accomplices who had left because of the teacher, they were puzzled by Kim Yun-sung's behavior during class. So they came here again after class. However, before entering the classroom, they saw the door, which was blocked by students. They ran anxiously into the classroom. They found that Park Min-chul was being held in the air like a dead dog and beaten wildly. Seeing this, Kang Chong-sik rushed towards C like crazy. He wanted to let this ignorant kid know what the regret was. But they just heard the wailing coming from his mouth. Kim Yun-sung punched him on his temple with an iron lock. The huge damage made him lose the ability to resist. But Kim Yun-sung did not stop the movement of his hand. He continuously hit him. Seeing this scene, the other two were immediately frightened by this cruel method. But this was not over. Kim Yun-sung threw the iron lock in his hand and rushed towards the thinner man. He vented his anger freely, and seemed to release all his hate. He looked like a bloodthirsty demon in the eyes of bullies. Bean-sized of sweat directly soaked his clothing on his body. The next person is you. But a sudden reprimand made him stop what he was doing. Seeing the teacher come to the rescue, Young Min-ho was finally relieved. The bloodshed of 3 students was a very serious matter for the school. However, looking at Young Min-ho's gloating expression, Kim Yun-sung showed a contemptuous smile. The teacher in the office, Kim Yong-chul, criticized Kim Yun-sung. He didn't understand that this student who was always calm, why did he do such an abnormal thing today? But as his teacher, he was likely to be responsible for this incident. So he secretly made up his mind to push all the responsibilities to Kim Yun-sung. I have been a teacher for more than 10 years and this is the first time I have seen a student like you. You have to take full responsibility for this matter. Feeling the thrill of Kim Yong-chul's shameless face again, Kim Yun-sung was completely disappointed. Is this the so-called being served as model? After being bullied in his previous life, he finally made up his mind to seek help from his teacher. However, what welcomed him was the teacher's cold-eyed onlooker. And after that, the bullies intensified their bullying. Kim Yong-chul turned a blind eye every time he saw. The worst thing was that after he fought back against the Young Min-ho who bullied him, he was asked to ask grandma to come and apologize to them. But obviously he was the real victim. It was not until later that Kim Yun-sung realized that it was because Kim Yong-chul accepted bribes from their parents. Kim Yun-sung sneered. "Teacher, don't be so excited. This is not the first time this has happened to you. Didn't the previous bullying incidents have been well hidden by you? This time you just have to deal with it as usual." Hearing Kim Yun-sung's answer, Kim Yong-chul was furious. He directly hit him on his face. A stream of bright red blood flowed from the corner of Kim Yun-sung's mouth. And the reaction of other teachers after seeing this scene, it was just as Kim Yun-sung expected. They just ignored and watched him. They were one of the reasons why he turned into a vegetative state. Just when Kim Yong-chul continued to fight him, Kim Yun-sung just slightly said a sentence. The teacher's hand which was raising was frozen in midair. "If you don't stop, then you and the English teacher's affair will soon be known by everyone." Kim Yong-chul looked at the boy in front of him in disbelief and fell into fear. He looked around to see if there was someone hearing this. Seeing him refuse to admit it, Kim Yun-sung then told the story of his cheating and accepting bribes in detail. The things about Kim Yong-chul in his previous life were exposed when he was in his third year of high school. So if he didn't want his property and reputation to be damaged, then he must be afraid. As expected, after hearing Kim Yun-sung's words, Kim Yong-chul trembled all over his body. In the end, he could only silently lower his head and say something softly. "I know what to do." After finishing these tasks, Kim Yun-sung walked towards the classroom without looking back. He still had one very important thing to do next. At the same time, in the class, Young Min-ho angrily vented his anger towards the tables and chairs. He's secretly glad that since the teacher accepted the bribe from his mother, at least he would make Kim Yun-sung drop out of school. Then he would never have to face that horrible guy again. As long as Kim Yun-sung was not around, no one can shake his position as the school's overlord. However, just when he was obsessed with the obsession of dominating the campus, Kim Yun-sung's voice came from behind. "Our business is not over yet." Seeing Kim Yun-sung appearing in the classroom again, Young Min-ho suddenly fell into endless fear. Before he could react, Kim Yun-sung's fist had come to his face. Looking at the devil-like young boy, Young Min-ho didn't have any thought of resistance. One punch after another hit on his face. Young Min-ho was instantly being beaten into a dead dog. He thought the teacher outside the classroom would come to save him after seeing this. However, to his utter despair, the teacher turned his head and completely ignored everything that happened here. At the same time, Kim Yun-sung's fist was raised high again. He snorted. "Don't hope for it. No one will ever come to rescue you at this school." Just because he took bribes and had an affair, he was firmly held in Kim Yun-sung's hand. Once anyone else found out, he would completely screw. But at the same time, he can't punish Kim Yun-sung, because the victim's parents would never give up easily. Especially, the powerful people like Young Min-ho's parents. They not only funded a lot of funds for the school, but also had close relationship with the principal. However, the bloodshed of the 4 students soon reached the principal's ears. In order not to affect the reputation of the school, the principal held an emergency meeting. At this time, the principal Oh Dae-won was judging Kim Yun-sung righteously. "Not only did you send 3 students to the hospital, but also ignored the teacher's observations and admonitions. Eventually, you cruelly beat Young Min-ho to serious injury. Your crimes are really unforgivable." After hearing the principal's condemnation, English teacher Lee Min-young started to agree without asking why. "I agree with the principal. We must expel Kim Yun-sung." However, her words made Kim Yong-chul beside her pouring cold sweat. He used his eyes to constantly signal Lee Min-young not to talk nonsense if she didn't know the situation. Otherwise, the relationship between them would soon violently discovered. If Kim Yun-sung was expelled, then their life would be over. Thinking of this, Kim Yong-chul can only force himself to excuse for Kim Yun-sung. Although Kim Yun-sung's approach is wrong, however, I believe that the main reason for this is that Kim Yun-sung, because their little gang often bullies students at school, Kim Yun-sung must not be able to bear their bullying and fought back. If we expel the real victim Kim Yun-sung, then we don't deserve to be teachers. As soon as he finished speaking, the principal immediately rejected his statement. Immediately, the two began to confront each other. In order to maintain close ties with the powerful, Oh Dae-won must appease Young Min-ho's parents' wrath. He secretly decided to expel Kim Yun-sung, but he still showed a look of helplessness on his face. "After a week, I will hold a review meeting. The final punishment for Kim Yun-sung's behavior will be made at that time. So in the meantime, please prevent rumors from being spread. Otherwise Kim Yun-sung will be suspended for a week, and have to bring the parents to the meeting." Looking at their ugly faces, Kim Yun-sung just sneered. He responded casually and walked outside. After a while, Kim Yong-chul hurriedly followed Kim Yun-sung's footsteps. He also said that he had tried his best just now. However, Kim Yun-sung just sneered. He knew that if he hadn't got his handle, it was impossible for Kim Yong-chul to excuse him. Besides, Kim Yong-chul had already abandoned him a long time ago. Being a teacher with basic standard, I know you tried your best, but it seems you always knew that Park Min-chul was bullying the students. So if you don't want your secret to be known, you should better let me graduate. After saying this, Kim Yun-sung walked towards the classroom without looking back. Although he really wanted to destroy this disgusting guy immediately, he knew that it was not to get carried away by anger. At least until the foundations of school were laid. He must make good use of Kim Yong-chul as a pawn. Because his goal was not just that simple, he must totally destroy all people,